This is the tutorial for Chapter 10, Section 2, titled Product of Powers Property. And it's day number 1. Let's take a look at our first type of problem that we're going to end up encountering. It says product of powers property, and in words it says to multiply powers to the same base. And we add the exponents, and that's what we end up doing here. And the reason is this, is if we had 4 to the second power, that represents 4 times by 4. 4 to the third power represents 3 4s being multiplied together. So you can see how I have 2 4s and 3 4s multiplied together makes 5 4s, and that's why we add the exponents. And then over here we have a power of a power product. And so what we end up seeing here is if we had 4 to the 6th all raised to the third power, well, that means I have 3 groups of 4 to the 6th. So that means I have 4 to the 6th times 4 to the 6th times by 1 more 4 to the 6th. And if we went ahead and combined all the 4s together, we have 6 4s, 6 4s, and 6 4s make a total of 18 4s. So we can multiply the exponents that are separated by the parenthesis. The reason is again, because that tells us we have 3 groups of, in this case, 4 to the 6th. And then we also have a power of a product property that says to find a power of a product, find the power of each factor and multiply. And so, for instance, here we have in parentheses, we've got an expression. And if I went ahead and took this power on the outside and I brought each of the parts inside the parentheses to that power, basically I'm taking 5 and I'm bringing the 2 to the 5th power, and I multiply the exponents just like I would over here. And so if this were 2 to the 2nd, then I would do 2 to the 2nd, all to the 5th would be 2 to the 10th. And so in this case we're bringing each of the parts to that 5th power. So we're going to use those properties to simplify some expressions. And here we have 2 6s and 2 6s, so we have the common basis. And so our rule is that we can add up the exponents. Again, we have 2 6s and 4 6s make a total of 6 6s. Over on this one, we have a negative 1/2 to the third power. And so this base is negative 1/2 because of the parentheses. And I have another base that's exactly the same to the 6th power. So that tells me that I'm going to bring those exponents together. I'm counting them all up, and that leaves us with 9 negative 1/2 being multiplied together. And so over here we have a z times by z to the 12th. Well, if we don't see an exponent, it's always 1. And so you count up how many z's you have. You have 1 and 12 make a total of 13 z's multiplied together. And so on this one we have 3 groups of 4 to the 4th. So again, that's 4 to the 4th times 4 to the 4th times another 4 to the 4th. And that tells me I have 12 4 to the 4ths. Or I have 12 4s all being multiplied together. And so I multiplied the exponents when I have a power raised to a power. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm multiplying the exponents because I have 4 groups. So this means I have 4 groups of y to the 2nd. And so that would be y to the 2nd times by another y to the 2nd. I'll erase this one here because it's not right in line with each other. And another y to the 2nd and another y to the 2nd. And so what that makes is if I go ahead and count them all up, I got 2, 4, 6, 8. So the other way to do it is just multiply the exponents when you have a power raised to a power. And so on this one, we've got negative 4 to the third power. That's the base, but it's all being brought to the 2nd. So I have 2 groups of negative 4 to the third power. So that's going to be negative 4 to the 3 times by 2, which makes negative 4 to the 6th power. So on this next one, we've got 5y all to the 4th. So both parts are brought to the 4th power. So again, it looks like this, 5y times 5y times 5y times 5y, 4 groups of 5y. So you can see how we're bringing the 5 to the 4th power, and I'm bringing the y to the 4th power. So that makes a total of 625y to the 4th power if I multiplied that out. So over here, we've got 5 groups of AB. So we've got a to the 5th power and then b to the 5th power, and that would be our answer. So again, 5 groups of them, AB, 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 AB. You'll see how you have 5 A's and 5 B's. Over here we've got 3 different parts inside the parentheses. The 5/10 MN and another 5/10 MN. So you can see how you've got 2 of these, and so that gives us 0.25. M and M make 2 m's, so it makes m to the second, and 2 n's make n to the second, and that would be our answer. So those are the types of problems that you're going to see on tonight's assignment. Good luck.